OG coming at you guys with a what kind of profile today, Rico?
Prank Kids.
Prank Kids. All right,
Yeah.
you got, I think, all the way up to top 4, and let's jump in and see this madness.
Yeah, so first off, not Prank Kids, Dragoons package. So,
Ooh, the hate.
Yeah. So that's just that because I run a card to help me get to it a little bit easier in this deck. Parallel Exceed. It's
Yes.
nice because it's like, you know, everything one card starters to a link one, so you might as well run it to get a free Dragoon if just do it at the end of your combo, so that's cool.
And
get into
you
it.
could potentially do like anti-Nibiru plays with the Reflation stuff if you really wanted to, right?
If I wanted to, yeah. I didn't go that route with this tournament because I know a lot of people here don't really play combo as much, so no one really puts Nibiru in there. So I wasn't as worried, but I did have ways for that in case. Just a hand trap lineup now. 3 Effect Veiler, 2 Ash, and then there's also 3 Infinite Impermanence. And that's just because I probably should have added more hand traps. I didn't see enough of these. Honestly, I only saw like 1 hand trap. This is I think a 43 or 4, no, it's a 44 card deck. So I probably should have added more to compensate for it, but I really wanted to have the Parallel Exceed for the extra Dragoons, just ways to get to it, so I could still keep my Prank Kids alive without having to use my resources from them. So I mean, that way you could go with, you know, instead you'd have 10 hand traps.
Okay.
So that's
which is roughly the correct amount for today's garbage.
Yeah,
format.
11. Sorry, excuse my math, but yeah, so that helps a lot more if I were to go that route instead. So taking these out now. All right, now for the Prank Kids. It's a pretty standard lineup. I mean, some people play 2 Vrazis. I just go 3 of everything, honestly, because if you don't see it, that really sucks. So 3 of all the Prank Kids. There's really no particular order you could go in your combo, but I prefer to get the Fansies out within your first summon or 2, just because you want to be able to dump whatever you're going to get back from Doodle-Doo eventually. And also, if you do end on it in defense, at least it's got a bigger booty, so no
It's got a fat ass.
Oh, yeah. All right, so those are your 12 card starters. And on top of that, now just some other things you'll see is just Cosmic Cyclones, because we got control here.
Yeah, you guys are plastered with control.
Oh yeah, and then Call by
God card.
2 Triple Tactics Talent.
Triple T's.
Yep. So I mean, I probably should have gone for a 3rd one of those, but I didn't really get to use it today or see it, so that was the issue. But then again, I am running a bigger deck, so that's my own fault for choosing that. But I really hate seeing any of my Dragoon pieces. So.
Hey, yeah, gotta compensate for that.
Oh yeah. So 2 Pranks, 3 Pandemonium, and then 3 Place.
Yes.
Along with 1 Terraforming. So that turns your starters up to 16 starters.
16 1-card starters.
1 card
right?
starters. Hey, thank you. So it's a 1-card combo to do the whole thing. So if you have time, I'll show. If not, yeah, it's pretty easy. All right, and then just some generic, and then I guess 1 plan, just because you wanna, in case you again want to link on your opponent's turn, or just for the free shuffle back into basically Pot of Avarice your resources. But you don't get to draw, but at least then that way you reduce attack, and then you can recycle your fusions and links and all that for Prank Kids. And then 3 spicy cards. I mean, Monster Reborn, just great. 1 card, you know, extender, or you can use it to take your opponent's stuff if you break their board. Instant Fusion for Millennium Manager Strict, just in case someone did play Nibiru or to prevent a hand trap, but also can help me to resource fodder to link into the Predaplant Verte Anaconda. And then the Thunder Dragon Fusion, which you can send off of Predaplant Verde Anaconda. And it's pretty cool, because then that way, if you I wish I would have run a 2nd one today, because it came up to where I brought out the Verte, but boy, it would have been great to have 2 Battle Butlers, so I could have Regeki 3 times on their turn, which would have been nuts. But
unfair.
Yeah, and what's cool is the other effect, you can still use that too, and during your on main phase, when it comes back around, you can banish to search your Fansies. So that way you have an extra...
Ooh, resource in hand, yeah.
Resource hand, yep. Now onto the extra deck. I have 2 Meow Mew. I should have played this at 3, I feel like. Even though you have ways to, you know, put it right back in your deck, I feel like I should, if I would have had a 3rd one today, I could have maybe turned things around to get to the finals. But 2 so far. I mean, 2 has worked very well. Most of the time I didn't need the 3rd, but man, I wish I had the 3rd in that finals game. 1 Bow Wow and 2 Doodle-Doo, and then the 1 Rip Roarin'.
Roaster,
yeah, Roaster. So what's cool is in the later game, I used the Meow Mew, not to necessarily for the big ones like you'd expect. I used it for these guys, so I could still keep them out on the field to do other shenanigans, and it kind of helped me gain some more resources. So it's cool because you can use the Meow Mew not for the destruction of these guys so much, but for the resource game with the links or the fusions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and what's cool is your opponent doesn't realize this lets you take any card out of your graveyard and add it to your hand when they get rid of it. So if you brought this out, you get to just add any card in your deck back into your hand.
Yeah, so I mean, once you're born, you could have used. You could add it back and use it again.
Exactly, or any side deck stuff, whatever you want to do. Then for the Prank Kids fusions, the one Battle Butler, I could bump this up to 2, but I didn't run any polymerizations. If I ran like polymerizations, I could bump that up to 2 pretty easily. One of those, and then 2 Rocket Reds. No regrets on this ratio for these guys. Maybe could use a second one if I would add polys in there instead. But yeah, I rarely made this guy, but you still have to run it just because it's good because you can do it on your opponent's turn. If you know you're about to play like an OTK deck, bring this guy out, tribute, and then bring the 2 in defense, which could be the links, but what's cool is then they're not destroyed by battle. So your opponent may forget that lingering bit where they're not destroyed by battle, so you are going to survive another turn unless they clear it by card effects. So, and then this guy, when they get rid of him, they always forget about this one too. This one here, I think you just special summon any monster in your graveyard, I believe is what it says. Yep, so one non-fusion monster in your graveyard and special summon it.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
So what's cool is if you wanted to bring back, like, let's say like an access code, you totally could. And then for the instant fusion target, for that guy, you can make a Toad in this deck. That's pretty cool. So that was the extra bit there for protection from like hand traps, Nibiru, or whatever. And then these guys. So access code is really cool in this deck. It's easy to make. It's usually you don't make it turn 1 anyway. So if for some reason if you wanted to push for game, this is a good way to do so. But you just have to not activate the one quick play fusion that gets you all those crazy summons. Then you can't bring him, which sucks. But what's cool is this year most people expect you to go into the Dragoons. So if they're like, he's going to send Red Eyes Fusion, no, you could send that Thunder Dragon Fusion and shuffle back in all that stuff, just so you can keep your resource game with your Prank Kids. So you don't always have to go to Dragoons, but it's nice that I have multiple options for this Verte Anaconda.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, do you want to show us the combo?
Yeah, I was going to show you the side deck too, if you'd like.
Oh yeah, go right ahead. Yeah.
So I felt like Lancia's good in this format, and then the Alpha King of Beasts. This actually came up today. Someone brought out a BLS with the 3 materials, and I'm like, boom, bounce. So he was very disappointed because, non-targeting bounce, basically. And this would have been a good out to Dragoon, so that's cool. And then the 3 Dark Ruler No More, 2 evenly matched, and then 1 red reboot.
Can we talk about the feature match, how you got this ripped and then ripped into another one on the top?
Yeah, it was crazy. So I was playing for Noble Knights, so he ripped this out of my hand, and I drew into another one, and that was it was awesome because I would not have been able to play otherwise. He had some negates on board, so this allowed me to break his board. But he came back and beat me, but at least I
at least you can say you gave him a good fight.
Yeah, so then 4 one-ofs as well. The red reboot was a 1 of 2, but I still like these cards. I know they're limited, but they're pretty sacky. But boy, if you had a bunch of sack cards in your deck, then
you eventually see one,
great.
right?
Yeah, you only need 1. I mean, if you see it, great. So it helps a lot. I never really had to side this one in, so I would consider that for something else. But you do need your normal summon in this deck. It's pretty essential, unless you're going to fuse right away, but then you get suboptimal boards, in my opinion. But so that's why I chose a Rokeki over like a chicken egg or something like that. I don't want to give him a kaiju. So, and this worked. I was able to clear boards just fine for the most part. So 1 card combos. Let me get the Prank Kids here because you're going to go through 1 of each. All right, so you can start off with any good old Prank Kid. If you had multiples in your hand, I like to start off with the Roxys, honestly. So you normal summon the Roxys, and then you link the 1 away from Meow Mew. And then Roxy's effect, you have to banish 1 from your hand, then you draw a card, and then you special 1 from your deck. So that's pretty cool, just because it could help you dig a little bit deeper. But that way, in case you had multiples of any of these in your hand, just banish 1. It doesn't matter. You only need really 2 in your deck at any point to keep them rolling and going from there. And then you can bring out this guy next, is what I prefer normally, of Fancies. And then you would link these 2 away. Again, still 1 card combo. Doesn't matter what else you have in your hand. And then you make your do-doodle-do effect. You'll search, and you will chain block here, or not chain block. I know that's a naughty term people don't like as much, but you will
construct your chain links.
Construct your chain links. Thank you. See, you're great at this. All right. So going back to the deck, you want to search. First, you have to, if you're going to do it, chain link 2, chain link 1, so that way you send special, and then you'll search. So then special this guy, doesn't matter from there, really. And then the sending of the 1, usually I like to send the plan just so you have your link option in case you're going against a control deck. And So wherever I put that plan, there we go. Trinkets plan there. And again, that's the resource management one. Whenever they just declare an attack, which is great. And then you add the Pandemonium to hand. So that's in your hand. And then from there, you're actually going to activate Pandemonium, fusing these two, gaining 1,000. And then you're going to get your Rocket Ride. And you're also going to special the remaining one, the Lamseys. Then tribute the Rocket Ride, getting back your Doo-Doodle-Doo right here. And then just any of them, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I like to bring back Roxy's. Helps you dig a little bit deeper if you don't have the greatest of hands, that's fine. Because what you do from here then is you're going to tribute. You're going to add back Pandemonium. You can add back the plan, or you can add back another Trinkets monster. It really doesn't matter because you're going to get your remaining one anyway when you get into your Battle Bark, which I'll show. But assuming you're going to add these two to your hand, that's great. That's cool. You can also send the field spell if you wanted to have extra Trinkets in hand and go from there, and which allows you to help prevent your opponent from ashing you if you constrict your chain links a certain way for the fusion. But you distributed that, linking for 2 here, into your Bow Wow Bark. You already used all your, nope, you haven't used this one yet. So you're going to burn for the 5. So you got to keep track, because your opponent is going to get a little confused as well too. Make sure you do each of the things that it says, whether you banish the one, draw the card, then special, or the burning. Just because otherwise you'll, it really complicates the game state if you forget to do certain things. Or also keeping track of which ones you did, just because your opponent, they get a little flustered too, looking at all this happening before them. Putting the fansies there, and then you will just set 2, pass turn to your opponent. And then during your standby, you can activate this effect here. It just says during your opponent's turn, quick effect. You can wait until they, want to bait it out or something. But you contribute this, then you would add back the 2 Prank Kids remaining for the materials that you would need for your Battle Butler. And now it prevents your Prank Kids monsters in general from being destroyed by card effects. So then that way, if they did have a Lightning Storm after you fused or something during their main phase, then it won't affect whatever you bring out for Prank Kids monster-wise. But then, during their main phase, they get the first play. You'll activate your Pandemonium, fusing with these 3. Which will then make your Battle Butler wherever you want to put it. So, and then you can construct your chain links however you want. But just keep in mind, the only issue is, again, this was done during the main phase, and what happened to me, and it really hurt, was my opponent Triple Tactics talented me. So if you're playing against someone who's really blinging out and they have these fancy cards like Triple Tactics Talent, I would consider maybe not
being a little bit more conservative.
Yeah, conservative with special summoning, because you don't really need to do that. You already have more presence with your double Raigeki by banishing the Maomu, so it's not necessary. But but if they don't have it and they don't have it, then great. Then you can just go off and then you can literally special each other from the deck. Just can't special themselves right, but you just special the different versions of them from the deck, which you can pretend, or get the Roxys or whatever you want to do. And then make sure, even if you break their board and everything, I will go ahead and activate this anyway, and then link on their turn. So I would just do these guys here, whichever, doesn't matter, because keep the drops, because you can then make a Toad on your turn, and that's just extra oppressive. So I would just then link those 2 with that trap card during the main phase to then make your, I put away it already. There we go, the other Doo-Doodle-Doo. You can put it here, wherever you want to put it. I'm just putting it here for the camera purposes. But then you get to search on your opponent's turn, which is just crazy. Which then, again, you can search for, I would prefer to search for the pranks or the field spell.
So then at the very end of this was all 1 card. So technically you have 5 cards in hand.
Yeah, you plus forward, I guess, because it's just 1 card. So the rest of your hand could be hand traps. It could be, you could have set some things down, whatever you want to do. So this is all off of 1 card. And that's incredible. Or if you want to go a different route, you don't have to do the link 2. You could, you're still going to special summon 2 additional monsters, which is great. I mean, you just special summon, like I said, another Dropsies and then a Roxy's. So actually, that's technically not even a plus 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 6 off of 1 card. And that's insane. And that's 2 Raigekis. What?
Because at that point, you used 3 of the 4 to make the.
Oh, you're correct. So if I brought out 1 of them, you're right. Yeah. So thank you.
You have to go for Roxy.
See what I mean? Yep. This is what's going on. It's been a long day. So yep, you just get you get none of them unless you chose the Roxys. So if I chose to bring out like Roxy's from the deck after I chose to do all of that
You would
shenanigans.
have to choose it to go for anything.
Yeah. So instead of choosing the red and the green, you could just bring out the Roxy's and this. Imagine this combo instead. This alternate thing since I messed up. You just choose these two, and then that way you just get that missing piece of your Toad because you already still have your double Regeki. Or, yeah, double Regeki is pretty great. And
Yeah,
quick effect whenever.
not a lot of people can play through double Regeki.
No, quick effect whenever you want. So that's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
but that's that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for the combo, man. And keep wrecking with pranks.
Thanks.